Hi, I'm Darrell Gurney. I'm from Los Angeles, California. My business, The Back 40, is all about empowering people to live their second half of life as their best half of life. I've always had a lot of respect for empowered women. I recently, over the last year, I've been a coach for 30 years, but over the last year or two, I finally admitted to myself that I have the best traction and really make a huge difference with powerful women. There's ego still involved with everybody, but women have a way of subjugating their ego to something bigger getting to happening. You know, like one of the things we did was the Mount Everest experience. And I was with this team. I was the only guy on a team of 8 women. And they're all leaders. Every one of them's leaders. I just get the feeling that if I had been with 8 guys, all leaders, then it would have been a whole different experience than with these women. And so, up to 25% of Americans experience what we call midlife crisis. And you mix up the players and you mix up the stories, and you get the same depression, you get the same lack of direction, you get the same unfulfilled potential. And it happens to men and women. And whether it be financial shifts or relationship shifts, which a lot of you in the room have spoken about over the last week, whether it's health shifts, career work shifts, or even life and death shifts, we have to admit it, midlife shift happens. And that's what I call it. I was blessed with an idea that went really contrary to what society, generally accepted societal wisdom, and even really counter to my upbringing, my cultural upbringing. And the idea went like this: what if the first half of life was just R&D? What if it was just research and development? And what if I had done everything up to that point exactly as I was supposed to? And what if it had all been lab experiments? What if it was all lab experiments, each giving their own formula? That's what you do in a lab. Each giving their own clues as to what I was really here for. And depending on how I assimilated those clues, that's where I found what I'm here to do and where that second half would come from. And what if it's all about the second half? Role that I appointed myself to when people go up the big pole and whenever they were going to jump for the trapeze. And there's this hell of a place right at the top that both the guys and gals, everybody ran into, where you're at the top, it's easy to climb up, but then you've got to find a way to get both of your feet on top of this flat part of the log. And so I just would run back no matter who was up there, coach them through that last session. I don't know that people needed it, but people thanked me afterwards. You know, they said it made a big difference. And so the actual things I did were for fun. It's like, okay, let's do that. But it was more like seeing people. What's really inspiring is when people go so beyond their comfort zone, you know, whether they did one thing. And so I know a lot of people had just huge breakthroughs in going past their comfort zone. That's right. With Burge, it was really a cool process that she put us through to look at the core disempowering belief. And so what was great was getting to work with Werner on that, because he's got this venerable, almost wise grandfather, you know, presence and stuff. And for a guy who didn't have the kind of fathering or whatever that maybe would have created the better feelings about himself, it was cool for us to play with each other and to do this process where we turn that core belief around into an affirmation, and not only said it to each other. And what I did when I was working with Werner is I just saw my dad over in Werner saying these things to me. And I even saw my dad whispering it to me during that part of the process. And so I allowed it to really make a core impact. So what I saw for myself, and I invite y'all to see for yourself, is that society may say that your best creativity, your best ingenuity, your best relationships, your best career, your best hot sex, which some people in the room have said they wouldn't mind having more of, that maybe that's not behind us. Maybe like Frank Sinatra sings, the best is yet to come. And won't it be fine?